Okay, in this quick video, I want to explain something else about the fourth source, the book. We've discussed the fact that there are two basic categories for books. There is the cookbook and the comfort book. Let's go ahead and call this, well, that's actually the cookbook. And then there's the comfort book. Let's go ahead and call this a comfort book, a coffee table book. Now, both of these mention things like love and let's see, social phenomenon. Let's see, entertaining. All right. This is also let's see, favorite. Oh well, again, just the idea of comfort. So let's go ahead and make that second category this way. But I want to point out something that I didn't point out initially, is that these are popular books in the sense that they're written to general, to people at large, to general audiences. What about the academic book? Much more rigorous, much more specific in its clientele group and and who's going to read it. Okay, so now I also pointed out that these comfort books are really something like a marketing tool because they're parts of a series. This book doesn't talk about breakfast, but it's the first book that Neil Perry wrote about the food I love. And notice that this one over here is using the same title, but now it's the breakfast part. So they may be actually working on a series here. But then I asked, now what about this book? All right. By the way, I said you can look at this book in more detail by finding it on Google Books, and this is where you would click. All right. So you may need to go do that if you want to see more about what categorizes that sort of book. But here's another book, Diet, Brain, Behavior, Practical Implications. Okay, that's in the screen capture software I have, I can literally capture only my screen. So there was more to the bottom that I had to scroll down to see. Here's the second part of it, edited by Robin B. Kanarek and Harris B. Lieberman. And now Taylor and Francis Group is a big heavy hitter for academic work. This is the publisher. This is just an imprint. All right, they're really Taylor and Francis Group. I know this is an academic book, all right? Now, Google's just going to give us a preview. You can actually get this book through the library if you want, the academic, through either Bierce Library or Ohio Link. I was able to get the contents, and I just want to point out one thing. Notice that it's really not a book about breakfast, right? It's diet, brain, and behavior, practical implications. All right, so if you look at the table of contents, there is a chapter on breakfast. Breakfast and adult and child behaviors. Andrew P. Smith. So I googled the title of chapter 4. That's what I should have said. And this is what I found. I did find CRC NetBase. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to get some more on it. Actually, when I click on that link, I do get the information, all right? But I mean, I potentially I get the information because you see, add the bookshelf. This is purchase ebook, that sort of thing. This, you have to buy it. You have to buy access. Now it's pages 72 to 70, so we do get some citation information, but as far as like, well, what's it about? We're not going to be able to get any further than the table of contents of that chapter. Okay, so we get, the intro, breakfast and nutritional recommendations, breakfast and physical health, breakfast and cognitive function, studies of adults, study of children, effects on breakfast on mood, breakfast and well-being, underlying mechanisms, breakfast is better than nothing, glycemic index, other mechanisms, effects on real-life cognitive function and safety. I got the rest of it here. Discussion, references, appendix. Okay, and then you get a little bit of the intro. And unfortunately, sometimes Google Books will give you chapters. They won't give you all of the book this is not, by the way, this is not a Google Books, but if I were to go back to Google Books, there was like a 50-50 chance that I would actually get this chapter, but no, they didn't. They had blocked it out. However, I could get the PDF here. See, the trouble is when you click on it, you have to buy it, and 24-hour access to this PDF is $50. If you want to buy the thing itself, it's $149. Isn't that incredible? That's incredible. Just one chapter of a book. But they know that if you're even contemplating that, it's that you really need it now, and it might be worth it to you in service of an overall goal that you have. What are we going to do with this? We're going to go ahead and say, just as an end to that, to the way we're going to summarize books, is we're going to suggest that there's another type of book. Full-blown books that deal with breakfast are usually going to be very rigorous, very scientific-based, very professional, or excuse me, technical-oriented, for dietitians, for professionals in the health field, in the nutrition field, or they're going to be, breakfast is going to get relegated to a chapter in a book, and it's going to look very much like a journal article. And we're going to go ahead and say that this book is representative of academic sources, academic books on breakfast. They're just not, there are hardly any of them. If they are going to cover breakfast, they're going to cover it as part of a larger book on diet or wellness or health or something like that. And it's going to be very, very scientific, very technical. We'll just have this be the way we end that fourth section of our review of literature. All right, we're done with the sources we're using. I'm going to quickly go over them so that you know what you need to do. You need to summarize this journal article. Not this one. This is just how I got this one. And find the PDF attached to Essay 3 somewhere in that folder, or alongside this attachment. You can work on the abstract if you want to, but make sure you put it in your own words. So that's source 1. We're doing 4 sources. Source 2 is a report from a research group. This is the name of the report right here. This is the summary. You can use this to summarize it. That's the second thing you're summarizing. If you start with an introductory paragraph, this is going to be paragraph 3 for you. Paragraph 4 is then going to be popular article, and here's the title. Here's the author, and it's 1 of 8, and you got to just kind of describe the general form of this, what it's really trying to do. I wouldn't summarize, every single meal, but you might want to pull in some detail to give it feel and substance. This would be paragraph number 4 then. And then the next source that you have to deal with is books. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, isn't it? Because I'm giving you quite a few books. Do I want you to summarize each one? No. I want you to summarize the book source in general. You got cookbooks. You got feel-good comfort books. And you got academic books that will relegate it to just a chapter or something, and they're going to be very technical. It being breakfast. Okay, so you really have 3 types of books you can talk about, and you can bring in specific titles if you want to, just by way of example. But you would have to deal with this last part in terms of just describing the general types of books that are out there and what they look like if they're going to write about breakfast. So, for this last part of the review of literature, you might need to use more paragraphs than just 1. I'll leave it to you to figure out exactly how to get it done, although I will also provide some more basic guidance on how to write it. Okay, I hope this has helped. Thank you for your attention.